In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Astros are still in a scandal. The Cy Young and MVP award winners were announced, and we will talk about them. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Baseball. It's a podcast. We talk about baseball, Major League Baseball. Sometimes Jake tries to talk about other sports, and we stab him in the throat with our words. My name's JOMBOY. I'm coming to you from Harlem, New York, and I have my co-host Jake, the aforementioned dude who we stab sometimes, coming to you from Denver, wearing his Breckenridge, Colorado pocket patch salmon-colored shirt that I am a big fan of. How you doing, Jake?
Good color on me. Pinks and purples. They show well on my skin tone, a woman at the Atlanta airport said once. I'm good, man. Mentioned Breckenridge. I think we're going to get our first skiing this weekend. Excited for that. And, how about I appreciate you said baseball in the news cycle. That's something I like, good news or bad news. And a couple other people did say that. But yeah, shout out to football for trying to get into things by a player trying to rip a human's head off and then beat him with the thing that was protecting his head.
Here we are, talking football once again.
I told you, I knew you'd like that. But I'm good, man. Yeah, we've got a little bit of player movement. It's been under the radar with everything that's going on with the asterisks. LMAO. Have you heard that one, Jim?
I have. Someone emailed me and said, "Am I the first to do this?"
It's so tough because you and I are like inundated to a blind degree with it, but it's now anytime anyone hits a table or there's a video of someone drumming, or even the football thing last night, someone's like, oh, it must be a changeup. And it's like, that joke was cool for 24 to 48 hours. I think we got to start getting better material out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people have already, but that's what people do. They can't think of new jokes, so they just hammer the jokes they've heard.
And I think I do want to give a quick an apology to Astros fans before we say probably more bad stuff about them coming up in a minute. Dude, it's got to be bad for the diehard baseball fans that are Astro fans because there's no defending what's currently going on. So the people that are defending on it are the breezy Astro fans that just want to talk trash on the internet, and they're making them look awful right now.
Oh, yeah. The casual fans are always the ones that make your fan base look bad because they have nothing at stake, so they just talk out your butt.
We don't. Yes. Oh, integrity of the game. We don't care about that because we got a banner. Well, you don't like the sport. I got news for you. You don't enjoy the sport of baseball, and that's what I like. What's going on in Harlem, Jim? Are you in Spanish Harlem? Can I start saying that?
I don't believe I am. I think that's got to be Southern Harlem.
I love Maria Maria, one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah, well, I like that song by Elton John where he talks about Spanish Harlem.
Would you look at this?
No,
couple
Spanish
peckerheads that like Spanish Harlem, never been.
Spanish Harlem is on the east side. Dude, that Elton John song is fantastic.
Meatball down my pants make me think one of my testicles fell out.
Well, Mona Lisas and Mad Hatters. It's a good song.
Good song. Like Elton John.
Oh, yeah.
Similar personalities, me and him.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
I'm going on two Houston radio shows today.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You think they're going to come at your neck?
Well, one emailed me. Dude, I have a lot of... Everyone wants to talk to me, and it's like, I don't know. It's not really worth it. But I'm trying to find the email. They asked if I could come on, and I said, "Hey, Houston kind of hates me right now. Are you trying to railroad me?"
Is this a trap?
I said, "Either way, I'll come on."
Give me like a little heads up if I need to have my shield up or not.
They said it's going to be friendly. What you were saying, and a lot of people just aren't looking at all the evidence, or not evidence, accusations. And I'll give Houston fans that it's just accusations. A lot of people, like when I was looking, like they don't understand what I'm doing. I'll say that someone blew up with Astros Twitter. They don't understand what I'm doing. People are saying things, players and coaches, and this is a little update. And then later on in the show, we're going to talk about Cy Young winners, some movement, and MVP, but. People keep coming out and saying things like, I told you personally about the eye-line thing I heard and the bullpen catcher in the bullpen. That came out publicly, so then I went and tried to find something. I didn't really find anything because it's going to be impossible to find, but I just posted that Springer video and I was like, he's kind of looking off to the right, but we're not going to find any evidence here. I literally said that in the tweet. Like, there's no damning evidence from this. And then the whistling, you can hear whistles, but honestly, I don't know if it's just a Houston thing or if it's every stadium. I've only tried one. If you listen for whistling, it's almost like, holy shit, why are so many people whistling?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it's kind of in a tough spot right now because, and I don't want to give this as too much of a compliment to you or too much of an insult to other people, but like, I don't know. I saw there was a video on my feed today that was like a guy that got a video and he's like, I don't know if this is something, but check it out. And like those people kind of aren't helping right now. Like if you just grab the video and like the video was Springer striking out on a slider, but there was like some clapping beforehand, and it's like, hey, we don't need this one. we've got other data. This one's cool for now. Yeah, and I think that's the only. Again, I hate going to bat for you, but I thought it was funny the couple comments that have been like, all right, dude, like let it go, like. Kind of no, this is not only the biggest story in baseball, this is the biggest story in sports right now. And yeah, like it's kind of cool for everything we've got going on, but also it's a big deal. And the only people that are saying it's not are Houston fans and probably bad Houston fans. So it's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of Houston fans that are in a position they're like, this sucks, but I'm going to wait. And I appreciate that. Like, I'm going to wait until it's 100% or not because this sucks if it's true. It looks bad. I hope that it's not. But someone's like, you're putting your integrity on the line. Like me. Like, I'm going out and fishing for these. Players are saying accusations, and I'm just trying to find video to back that up. And sometimes I haven't been able to, and sometimes the banging is very, very easy to. Yeah.
And, I mean, like, people within the sport are contacting you. Like, it's not I don't know, like at first it was sounds like the JFK shooting is like JOMBOY operated alone. Now it's like this is a very real thing, people.
And the other thing, and we'll move on, I promise, is that actually I forget what I was going to say.
All right, nice.
Fuck.
Strong close.
Damn. That's how you win the room over. Like,
Where are you? Here's one thing that we haven't talked about that I don't think baseball has fully talked about yet. And again, we're kind of in a tough spot because among some of the discovery stuff, of course, there's a couple opportunities to take a couple jabs at Houston. And I mean, it's sports. You might as well, hit him in the belly a couple times, see what happens. But how far deep do you think this goes with like Cora and Beltran? Because, I mean, it seems like they're the originators, and now they manage two of the bigger teams, one of them that won the World Series the year before.
Yeah, so, I mean, what I can tell you is that it's been reported and I've been told that Cora was very much put this in place, or was one of the people that helped put this in place with the bullpen catcher at the end of the year, and he brought the bullpen guy to Boston with him. So, I don't know. I think it's systematic, and that's the problem. That's the root of it. That it was it was a system put in place. And then that, if true, and that we don't have any evidence of this, just a couple hearsay. If the earpiece thing is true, right, that the bullpen catcher or coach was wearing an earpiece, that means that they heard the banging that getting faded out by the crowd and thought, we need another solution. And then, like, you know what I mean? So that means this was like an operation.
Yeah.
And we don't know if that's true or not yet, but if it is, that's bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be fun to see what other details leak out on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Why are you smirking like that?
Well, nothing. No reason. You just look like Thomas the Train Engine right now.
One of my first college Halloween costume, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, you looked good in it.
I look great. I didn't look great.
Yeah, actually, yeah, those pictures are actually kind of hard to look at.
Yeah, I got some tough acne, some water weight on at the time. I traded the Thomas the Tank Engine outfit for a girl that was wearing a sexy referee outfit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there's one pic of that out there.
Nice.
For the holidays.
Are we going to a break or are we going straight into everything else?
I think we go break and then
Awards! Stay tuned. We'll be right back with awards. I gotta fix your face.
Impossible.
That's what your mom said. And she was right. It is impossible to fix your face. Because of the ugliness. I don't want you to confuse it with something else. All right, we have awards coming up. And let me tell you here and now, I did not know who won what until I sat down at my desk this morning. Been so inundated with all this nonsense and going on interviews and TV stations. One TV station interviewed me, Jake, and then they just posted the interview as a tweet thread. I was like, we need to weed out what shows I go on. I had to talk. We got to do some searching with Bill. They said it was a TV interview, and they just posted the videos on Twitter. What the fuck's that about? It's a waste of my time. Another interview I did in Canada, they just didn't air it because the impeachment trials ran long or something like that. I was like, God damn it.
Can't trust those Canadians, man.
I'm not making any breakdowns because I'm taking all these interviews. So anyway. So I didn't know who won. Do you want to do Cy Young first? Because that's kind of what I looked at the notes you put in the sheet, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and chronologically, we are a cron pod.
We've always been a cron pod, and the true ones know that.
The Cy Young came out on Wednesday. And let's check the easy box first. In the National League, Jacob deGrom won back-to-back NL Cy Young for your New York Metropolitans. They've got a couple NL East trophies to hold on it. They just need to get that ring now. Some of that's not true, but good for deGrom. He's a stud, and I don't know. Is he kind of underrated in baseball?
No, I don't think so. He just has the Mets effect where people are like, oh, and deGrom.
Yeah, that's true. Because it was, I don't know. I guess it's just funny because all of the end of 2018 was people rabidly defending deGrom or Keith Olbermann being a human idiot. And they were saying he's got the best number. Don't look at the wins, people. And most of baseball was like, we're not. We'll look at the ERA and the other stuff. We got it. We're all over it. So it's kind of funny that there was that full defense of him. And then we talked about last podcast, I don't know, you just looked at the number at the end of the year and I don't know, we always expect and finish stronger. Maybe Scherzer was coming up and he got hurt and it was well, here's deGrom's here again. Let's do it.
It's deGrom's to win. Yeah, it's funny that we thought there might be a shot. And then we looked at it and we were last episode, oh, well, that's deGrom's. So good for the baseball writers. Oh, let me go into the voting.
Oh.
I forgot. I love going into the individual voting. Oh.
I didn't hear any crazy Cy Young votes. There is one silly National League MVP vote that I doubt you've heard of, so I'm excited to share that. Coming up in a little bit.
Good. No. Yahoo Sports MLB was suspended? That's where they were posting who voted for who. What the fuck?
Tough.
How did that happen?
Tough break.
Okay. Jake, can we talk about the? I'll dig into the votes and then we'll
Okay,
talk about.
I'll let you find your votes on your voting websites. Jim, in the AL, Justin Verlander, one of the great pitchers of this decade, and the second best pitcher on his team this year, won the American League Cy Young.
Yeah, this kind of shocked us. We both thought it should definitely be Cole. And I'm trying to look at the stats and figure out why it's not Cole, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good
Like,
question.
what did these voters see besides maybe Verlander's been around longer, Verlander's been nicer to them? I hope that didn't come into play. Obviously, it comes into play. You'd be naive to think it doesn't. All right, so here's what I got. I'm going to make the case. I'm going to act as a voter voting for Verlander, and I'm going to make the case for Verlander.
Ooh, this is fun.
This is like high school debate.
This is debate team.
In high school, they put us on two sides and like cats and dogs debate, and they put me on the cat side, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, you just lost a participant.
They're like, no, it's they're like, no, Jimmy, it's like this is what we're learning, how to debate something you don't believe in. And I said, that sounds very wrong and dumb. Why would you teach kids to do that?
Yeah.
You want me to just lie for the point of lying? Like, this is a real class in high school? I was very upset by it. Teacher kind of was like, well, that's what debate is. And I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
It is. Anyway, I'm going to do it. Verlander. Okay, Jake, he's older, so he
use that right now.
he comes with more wisdom.
Teacher was right.
No, he's older and he comes with more wisdom. Point one, okay?
1 point.
He won one more game than Garrett Cole.
Huge.
21 wins. He played in one more game than Garrett Cole. So now we have the scales balanced.
10.2 more innings.
Yes, more innings.
Lower whip.
He had 2 more complete games, and he had a complete game shutout and a no-hitter. Wonder how much that plays. He gave up less hits and less walks. And
Higher WAR. He's a WAR guy.
Is this balks? He had no balks.
Ooh.
Garrett Cole had 3 balks. That's huge.
Huge.
And lower whip, you covered that. Lower home run to 9? Really? He gave up 7 more.
Right.
He gave up 7 more. Oh, hits per 9. Hits per 9.
Hits per 9.
Higher home run per 9. And more, no, less strikeouts. So that's what that's, I guess, was enough. It's pretty close. It's closer than I originally thought, but
It's very close. I mean, Cole has the ERA by .08, which again, I mean, that's super tight, and ERA is ERA is ERA. The bigger things for Cole is like, I mean, he didn't lose like all summer. I think it was Mike Wilbon, someone that's not a pure baseball guy but a good sports person, and he was like, "Hey, it's the sport of the summer," and Garrett Cole didn't lose. He rode that winless streak from the start, end of April or end of May, whatever it was. I don't know. You're right. I mean, when you just look at the numbers on paper, I mean, it is very tight, and Justin Verlander's very good. But I don't know. Cole was just dominant, and I think like if you took a poll on the Astros, they'd say Cole, and if you took a poll around the league, like, if you were a batter, who would you least want to face? I think it's easily Cole. This year.
I agree. I mean, Cole was the dude. He had a winless, or he didn't lose a game for like the second half of the season.
Yeah.
It's like 16 in a row.
Yeah, I get the numbers mixed up in my head now because it carried into the playoffs and they started doing that thing. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think when we look back at this in a decade, like you'll say, like, yeah, those stats are there, and maybe the Verlander no hitter is a thing in this, which seems kind of ridiculous, because the stats are pretty similar face level, but I don't know if you were in it, you'd know that it was Garrett Cole all day.
Okay, so I have a guy that we need to take his vote away from him.
Okay.
Okay, so you know my rule about this. If
Yes.
you're not,
Lose your vote for a year.
I don't know what the standards are. If you're like in the 1% that didn't vote the same way as everyone else,
Right.
you lose your vote for a year.
Sure.
It's called the dummy penalty.
Yeah.
So
What should we say? If you have a guy, like if you don't give a guy who gets a first place vote, a top 3 vote or something, you should lose your vote. Something around that. We'll learn.
Yeah, we'll learn it, but it's definitely called the dummy suspension. And Mark Wicker from the Southern California News Group, he gets a dummy suspension. And I'll play the dummy suspension sound effect we have.
Thank you.
Well, it was pretty quiet. Could you hear it?
Really quiet. I did not hear it. Gone. You went gone. Okay.
Gong. Yeah. I just hit the T button, saw what played. His name, did I say his name already? Mark Wicker. He is the Los Angeles Dodgers beat reporter and the only person to vote Ryu as a first place winner in the National League.
So we're going to the National League.
That's what I have up. Every single person voted DeGrom besides the LA writer who wanted the LA guy to get it. Dunce, dummy suspension.
Dunce, dummy suspension. Okay, so we're done with the AL. We're on to the NL. We have our Dunce, dummy suspension out. That's tough. But we'll see you in 2 years, that guy.
Mm-hmm. Did you see Sonny Gray got some votes?
Yeah, Sonny got a couple votes. Soroker got a couple votes. Flaherty, Strasburg, Kirby Yates. Like, that's a tough one. Like, the Kirby Yates person should lose their vote.
Who voted for Kirby Yates and where'd they put him?
Patrick Corbin got a vote.
Who voted
It's
for
like, guys.
Wait, what? Yates got a 4th place vote from Mark Wicker, the same dude.
No.
The same dude had Yates 4th and Ryu 1.
Can you tweet it, Mark Wicker?
No.
I think we hit the level.
No, I have two.
With Ryu, I was okay, but Jim, Ryu and Yates?
You got
People need to know.
He got Flaherty 3rd, which is fine. Dude, Mark Wicker, what's your deal?
Who gave Corbin a vote? Can you get that one quick?
Yeah, I can because my eyes are
Got to be a DC guy, right?
human detective work. Corbin, do you know what spot, what place he got voted?
I think it was like the minimum vote he could get. He got 1 point.
Do they vote for like 6th place or they just vote top 5?
I don't have a vote anymore.
I don't think he got a top 5 vote.
Okay.
So he must have got like a 6th place vote. Why would they vote on like your 6th best person?
He had 1. Yeah, and that's so a couple people reached out and they were asking like, what's the solution? Because we've with like the manager of the year, you know, we saw Terry Francona got 1 random 2nd place vote. I don't know. The best solution in my head is like, let's do a primary and get it down to 3 candidates, and then you can only pick those guys. Does that make sense, or does my brain too simple?
No, that makes sense to me.
Okay, cool. Primary. Learn that one in the history classes.
Yeah, it's good shit. So you said there's something funny in the AL MVP? But let's not move there yet. I want to look at the AL. It wasn't the AL Cy Young you were talking about, was my question.
No, there's 1 comical vote in the NL Cy Young, and now I'm hoping it's that same guy, or the NL MVP, and I'm hoping it's that same guy.
You know, Mark Wicker?
Mark Wicker.
Dude, Yahoo Sports had all these up so easily, and now I can't find them. I don't know what website has them. If anyone in the chat knows what website has who voted for who, I can't find it. It's very bothersome. All right. So in the
So we
end,
go
we're
MVP.
we're fine with Verlander winning in the end. I thought I was going to be a little more disappointed. It does suck that like Verlander's already won one and Garrett Cole like was the best pitcher in the AL, but somehow didn't win it.
Yeah, and I guess, and this ties into the voting a little bit. I AL MVP votes because I feel like Garrett Cole got AL MVP votes, um, which I don't know. That would be kind of ironic. Like if he has more AL MVP votes than Verlander, which I think he does, but he didn't win the Cy Young. I don't know. Like you're right. It's nothing to get to throw your arms up about, but like I don't know. If you were a part of this season, it was Cole.
Mark Wicker. I saw someone tweeting about him. I'm sure he's getting some not fun times.
Wicker leaks.
Wicker leaks. All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll do the MVP. Check this out. All right, MVP voting. This is the biggest award in baseball. It's kind of like should be on the same level as the Cy Young, but because they refuse to establish what the MVP is and that pitchers can win the MVP, it makes it bigger than the Cy Young. It should just be the best hitter in baseball. Like it's weird that we have like the best pitcher in the leagues, but we don't have the best offensive player or like, field player in the league.
Yeah, we've done this a little bit before. It should be two awards. It should be best player and MVP. That would make it a lot more fun. Like I do like the Silver Slugger and Gold Glove stuff because I think that's a interesting way to give out some merits to different dudes if you're a fielding specialist or a hitting specialist. But yeah, and you know what kind of has ruined this is WAR, wins above replacement. Like that. That stat was made up to kind of show a player's value, and people have looked at that and been like, oh, well, that player had the most value this year. So, yeah, you kind of screwed us on that one, War.
Let's do the NL first.
Your NL MVP is Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger. Come on down.
He's a pretty good NL MVP, though. I mean, the Dodgers had a really good regular season. He went nut job for most of it. It would have been fun to see Yelich finish the season, but once Yelich got knocked out and Milwaukee did pretty good without him, it was kind of bellies.
Yeah, but I saw something that was Yelich missed the last 2 weeks, right?
I want to say it's closer to 3.
Okay, 3 weeks. If he missed the first 3 weeks, would it have counted against him in the same manner? That's what I saw, and I thought it was an interesting point.
Not the same manner. But I think your counting stats and stuff like that are impacted. But again, that's where it's another gray area with MVP.
Dude, Cody Bellinger's so young. He's 23 years old.
Yeah, he's really good. Do you think
I didn't realize he was that young.
If the Brewers played like shit without Yelich, does he win the MVP?
That's interesting. So if he gets hurt and the Brewers blew it, does he get more votes? Could be, because you can say, look what they did without him. He carried that team.
Right? And now there's probably some dumb people saying, like, look how good they did down the stretch without him.
Yeah. So the games, what the hell is this? Oh, I have this wrong. I have Yelich career versus Bellinger's last season.
Ooh, love it.
It's not fair. So Bellinger played 26 more games.
I mean, that's almost a full month.
Yeah.
Jakey math.
Good job. Almost a full month. We had more plate appearances. Yelich had a higher OPS, a higher slugging, a higher on base percentage, a higher batting average, more total, or no, not more total, no counting stat he's going to win. A higher OPS plus. He only had, dude. He only had 3 less home runs than Bellinger. Yeah, this was Yelich's to win easy if he didn't miss 3 weeks.
Did the NL blow all their awards with injuries? Like Tatis was neck and neck for Rookie of the Year. He gets hurt. Yelich had like a mini leg up on Bellinger for the MVP. And then Cy Young, like Scherzer had a good chance. He got hurt. Ryu got hurt and had a little slump. Like, NL, you kind of blew it this year.
Damn. Dude, I'm happy for Bellinger. I think he's a deserving MVP winner, so I'm not trying to knock him at all. He had a fucking fantastic season. But Yelich had him in a lot of these categories. I didn't realize that. If he didn't get hurt and he stayed true to how he was playing for the next 3 weeks, it was Yelich's easily. So that injury really hurt him.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting week of this offseason or spring training when, dude, Yelich's numbers are like silly. They're Barry Bonds stuff. So that'll be fun. It'll either be like this right before the start of the season or a boring week of the offseason where someone's like, hey, Christian Yelich is a real Barry Bonds.
A real Barry Bonds. So you want him to take steroids?
No.
I just don't know what you meant by it.
All right, so Jim, here's where it gets fun. So you'll appreciate this. Well, actually, no, you do have one asshole you have to find. Okay. Somebody gave Cody Bellinger a 5th place MVP vote. Everything else was 1st or 2nd. Someone gave him a 5th place. Like, yeah, like that dude should be in trouble. You fucked up.
Someone gave him a 5th. It looks like you get to vote on top 10. So the other ones I had. So who gave him a 5th? Here it is. Tracy Ringolosji from Colorado. He had Rendon, Freeman, Arenado, and Yelich above Bellinger. So he had Yelich 4 and Bellinger 5.
Yeah, I mean, you got to lose your vote for that.
Dude, he's the only one that didn't have Bellinger or Yelich. Dude, why are not all of them? Obviously, 99% of the baseball writers aren't assholes, but why are there like these assholes that get votes? You know what? It's not Bellinger or Yelich. They're not even top 3. Go fuck yourself. You're just wasting your vote.
Yeah, that sucks. Yelich had 1 4th place vote, and it's that person. That sucks. So Rendon had the majority of the 3rd place votes. He had 24 of them. Ketel Marte finishes 4th. We made some Ketel Marte jokes as the season went on. He had a crazy year. If you're a stats geek, go look at it. His season. Acuna finishes 5th. Arenado 6th. John, this is the one that had the NL talking, because you're right. I mean, when there's 10 votes, you're gonna have people that sneak in a Yasmani Grandal or a Strasburg or Eugenio Suarez for the Reds. Had 4 10th place votes. The one that had everyone talking yesterday, Jim, Kevin Pillar.
He got a vote?
Kevin Pillar got 1 10th place vote for the National League MVP.
For his 7.19 OPS season with a 259 batting average and a 287 on base percentage?
Like that's brutal. And I don't know, man.
Well, let's look at that guy's ballot, and let's look at if he did everything else good. Then I'll be like, okay, you don't get
Pillar had a 1.0 WAR.
Okay, let's look at the rest of his ballot and see how he did otherwise.
A 293 on base percentage.
Jake, if he did everything else fine, I'm fine with him fucking around with his 10th place vote.
Okay, that's fair.
His name is Henry Schulman. from the San Francisco Chronicle, which is Pilar's team.
Right.
He had Bellinger 1,
Nailed it.
Yelich 2,
Yep.
Rendon 3,
All day.
Marte 4,
Uh-huh.
Freeman 5,
Okay.
Alonso 6,
Yeah.
Arenado 7,
Yeah.
Soto 8,
Okay.
Acuna 9,
Yeah.
Pilar 10. I like it. I'm not duncing them. What I'm saying here is I want this to be the future. I want the top 9 guys you have to take very seriously. And then that 10th guy, you just give it to who you like the most.
Like, I'm wondering, does Kevin Pillar have something in his contract? If he gets an MVP vote, he gets $100K, and he threw this rider like $10K. He's like, hey, just give me your 10th place vote.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that feels like a no-brainer.
Okay, well, maybe Trevor Story has that. He got a 1 vote, a 10th place vote.
Trevor got a lot of votes.
Well, and he got 1 10th place vote.
2. But he also got 2 6th place votes.
Suarez got some votes.
Suarez, yeah. Colton Wong was the other one. He got 2 10 spotters. Goldschmidt had 1 8th. Ryu had 1 7th. Yeah, I don't know. It's it's a solid list. The Kevin Pillar. That'll be a running baseball nerd joke for the next year or so.
I'm happy for Pilar. And I'm not giving him my dummy suspension, the voter, either.
Okay, that's fine.
Who cares about that vote? Good job.
Can one of my I'm assuming yes, and that's part of the reason he got this vote. Can one of my Giants followers or listeners reach out and tell me if Pilar still plays like a cool center field?
Why wouldn't he?
Because I think the metrics are starting to fall off, and he's getting a little older. I mean, he's 30 years old, so I don't know. Just curious.
Well, do you still play a good center field?
We're gonna find out soon, I think.
All right. The AL MVP was an interesting one because you had Trout, who got hurt, similar to Yelich. You had Bregman, who's amidst a scandal right now, which that doesn't come into play at all, obviously. And then Simeon, who, like, I'm going to be honest here, Simeon just doesn't have the name or the campaign, is kind of a two-man race. I haven't looked at the voting, though. So how did this break out? Anything interesting?
We've got good news, Jim. Trout and Bregman got all first place and second place votes.
Oh, we got no assholes?
No assholes.
That's fantastic.
Trout 17 first, Bregman 13, and then vice versa for second place. Simeon had the majority of the third place votes. He had 22. LeMahieu had 6. He ends up finishing 4th. Simeon's a really interesting one because he played a really good shortstop and he had a really good year with the bat. That's kind of one of those mental mind fucks a little bit because I think when you think of Oakland's lineup, you think of Matt Chapman and Matt Olson first. But Simeon did have a really, really good year by a lot of advanced metrics too. Let's see, LeMahieu, Bogarts, he had a big year. There's Matt Chapman, George Springer, who if he had the full year, he would have had an interesting case. Mookie Betts finishes, which I don't. Jim, our guy Jeff, is it Passan or Passan?
I would say Passan.
Let's go Passan. That's how close we are with him. Got to figure that out before winter meetings. He had Mookie like 4th. He had LeMahieu like 8th, and that one's kind of tough for me. As a Yankee fan, but I'll try to keep my bias out of it. But DJ LeMahieu was so good and so solid for this whole season, and it felt like Mookie was gone for like not gone, but he wasn't MVP Mookie Betts for half the year.
But DJ's not going to get, like, if you look at MVP as the best player in baseball, he's not going to get those votes. If you look at it as most valuable to your team, he should get those, but it's very split in how you look at it.
I would counter you with, like, we saw it this year, and living in Denver, I had a lot of my Rockies fans and sports writers bumping me and being like, yo, you like it, huh? It's nice. And it's like, yeah. But remember, we had the whole stretch where David Cohn said it, that DJ LeMahieu looks little league out there, that he's just the best player on the field. And I don't know. I mean, this is part of the problem and why Kevin Pillar got a vote is that when you do watch a guy every day, sometimes you do get blindsided by whatever you're thinking a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other in the end. I'm trying to see if there's any standouts. So Garrett Cole finishes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Garrett Cole finishes 10th in the MVP voting. Verlander 11th. How about that?
That's what? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, okay. Well, if you wanted to make that case, Cole won more. The team won more when Cole was on the mound, so MVP. But then that's all right.
That's baseball, baby.
Is there any weird? So Boston writer voted Bogarts third. The only third place vote was from a Boston writer, so hometown love there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, he had a good enough year that if you throw him in with LeMahieu and Simeon, it's close. But yeah, that's a homer vote. Justin Verlander had 1 third place vote. Let's see who are our wild cards at the bottom. Jorge Soler gets a 10th place vote, but I love that because he had a big year. Like, knock yourself out, Royals writer that put that in.
Detroit writer put it in.
Ooh, how about that? Well, yeah, Detroit. There's a lot of games he had to watch. Charlie Morton gets 1. Sure, knock yourself out, Rays voter. Yohan Moncada, he gets 1 10th placer. JD Martinez gets 1 10th placer. Max Kepler with a 9 spot, Jim.
Yeah, Houston voter. Christy Ricken.
Jose Abreu with a 7th and a 10th. And Eddie Rosario with 2 8s. So there's that.
I don't see anything egregious here.
No, nothing too crazy, and you are right. I mean, once you get to the 8 to 10 range, you can throw shit at a wall a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. That's if we wanted to throw our hands up on the Cy Young, Garrett Cole finishes higher in the MVP voting. Dun dun dun.
I would have voted for Cole. I would have voted for DeGrom. I would have voted for. Actually, dude, I've never looked at the Trout and Bregman breakdown. I'm gonna look at it, okay?
Okay, let's see.
It is interesting because you have Trout playing 22 less games than Bregman, which is similar to Yelich and Bellinger. It was what, 26 to 22? You have
something like that.
You have Bregman with 90 more plate appearances. You have Bregman with 84 more at-bats. Bregman has 12 more runs scored. He has a ton more hits. He has 10 more doubles. He has
Did Bregman lead the league in anything?
I'll check. Bregman has 4 less home runs than Trout. He's got more RBIs. So he's going to have the counting stats, right? Because he played longer, but Bellinger had the counting stats because he played more games, but Bellinger won, Bregman lost. Trout had more stolen bases.
Trout led the league in on-base, slugging, and OPS.
But Bregman had him in batting average, didn't have him on base percentage, didn't have him in slugging, didn't have him in OPS. That's interesting. I think we also have a factor here. The human element of the vote is that, like, everyone in baseball loves Trout and wants Trout to be the best ever. You know what I'm saying? People want to say, I got to watch that guy play. Look at his MVPs. Look at his Silver Sluggers. Look at his stats. And this just helps pad to the allure that is we're watching one of the best baseball players ever right now. I think there's a tiny little smidge of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're almost going too deep into this. I think the 2 right guys won the MVP award.
Bregman was there with a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing, but I think, like you're saying, they are similar when you start mirroring the games and some of the counting stats. But I think Mike Trout's 134 games are more impressive than Bregman's 155 or whatever he landed at. I don't have his page in front
But then
of me.
I would say I would go.
And then I would say Bellinger's 155 are more impressive than Yelich's 130.
If I'm a Houston fan, I think you can have a gripe. I think you can be a bit upset about this one.
Four worthy guys.
Yeah.
Those guys got all the first and second place votes minus one asshole.
Trout, though, can I just go over this with everyone?
Sure.
Trout came up in 2011 and he played 40 games, not a full season, doesn't count. Didn't even pass his rookie limit, so who cares? 2012 Trout's rookie year. I won't even say all-star because he's been an all-star every season since his rookie year. Yep. He won rookie of the year, okay? He came second in MVP voting in 2012. In 2013, he came second in MVP voting again. In 2014, he was the AL MVP. In 2015, he came second in MVP voting again. In 2016, he was the AL MVP. In 2017, he got injured, he didn't play a lot, and he was the fourth place finisher in MVP voting. 114 games. In 2018, he came second in MVP voting, and in 2019, he came first in MVP voting. So in 8 full seasons, he now has 3 first place finishes in MVP voting and 4 second place finishes in MVP voting and 1 fourth place finish when he was injured. He's won a Silver Slugger every single year since his first full season in 2012, besides the injured year in 2017 when he only played 114 games. His career is incredible.
Yeah. No comment. Yeah, he's special. This is it. Go look at the Baseball Reference if you're a baseball person. It's fun to look at. All the bold italics for categories he led the league in are pretty insane. OPS 4 of the last 5 years. Jim, the cool part for me, because he's been special since you mentioned his rookie year. Like, we knew this dude was different. Where he led the league in steals with 49, by the way. In 2014, he led the league in strikeouts, which, again, not a big thing, especially when you're doing everything else he does. He led the league in total bases that year and won the MVP. But he's cut down on those a lot, and that's when things get really cool. When you see a special player that's like, yeah, I won the MVP. I had a really cool year. All right, time to get into those strikeouts. Got to get rid of those. And it's like, oh, you're different.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. All right, we have some free agent signings and happenings that we have to talk about as well.
Yep.
We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back with those. Oh! All right, we had some free agency signings. We had some qualifying offers accepted. I think the leading news stories are that Jake Odorizzi accepts his qualifying offer from Minnesota, which we'll get into. Jose Abreu accepted his qualifying offer from the Chicago White Sox. That's interesting. Will Smith gets signed by Atlanta, and Darren O'Day also signed with Atlanta. They are trying to bolster up their bullpen and move fast because, as we've said on this show multiple times, the relief pitching market was not big, and it's kind of done now. It's almost dried up.
Yeah, let's do relievers in Atlanta first because they're kind of the two of the major topics. Atlanta is they're trying to get their free agency done with. They signed 2 relievers. One of them is pretty impactful, Will Smith. He was on the Giants. He's been really solid for a long time. I think it's interesting. He got more money than Ottavino and Zach Britton. Not a lot more, but a decent chunk. And I think if you asked around the league, a lot of people would lean Ottavino and Britton over Will Smith. But I don't know. Atlanta, maybe they saw the market and they were like, let's do no joke and get this guy. And that was obviously a weakness for them in the postseason. So good for them. I'm kind of interested by their route. But yeah, they brought back Flowers, Markakis.
I've seen links of Bumgarner that there's a serious that they're going to make an offer, which makes sense. You have it making sense. So that's kind of cool. But good for Atlanta, man. This market was not good, right? We said that a lot. Yeah. If you wanted to get the free agents that you believed in, and they were, I mean, what do we have here? They were, Will Smith was the highest regarded free agent relief pitcher. Will Harris is behind him. He's still available. But then you also got Darren O'Day for, backup purses just to bolster it when you've got the top guy. Will Smith was kind of the top guy available. So good for them.
Yeah. The only wild card in the relief pitching pool is Dellin Betances. He's got dirty stuff, but he missed all of last year. He's going to miss part of next season.
No. Did you hear the update?
No.
Dellin said he's not going to miss any of next year.
Oh, there you go. I thought I said that, and then you talked me off the ledge.
I heard. Well, I don't know if you can trust him.
Okay. Well, he might miss start of next year.
He said that by December this winter, he will be fully recovered from his Achilles injury and have a normal offseason by December, which I just find very hard to believe, and also really good for free agent stuff.
Yeah, or it could be lying a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a little embellishment there.
Maybe I undersold Will Smith a little bit because he's been Kansas City, Milwaukee, San Francisco Giants. If you take out his rookie year, which we just did with Mike Trout, he's at a 3.03 ERA.
I didn't do that with Mike Trout.
You did.
He wasn't a rookie. It was like a call up.
Yeah, I mean I'm taking out Will Smith's first season. He started games that year. He started 16 games. He's only started one since. So I think that can be an outlier for Will Smith as well.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying Trout's rookie year, he won Rookie of the Year.
Yes, his first season playing baseball. Let's settle there. And Will Smith was great last year. 2.76 ERA, 34 saves for the Giants. 96 strikeouts in 65 innings. So good for Atlanta. He's not the flashiest name, but he did have a good year, and he's kind of a fun guy. We saw him on a couple breakdowns. Hopefully he fits with that Atlanta squad.
Should they? What is their identity?
Went to high school in Georgia, Jim. Perfect fit. Love it.
From there. Wow, that is wildly amazing. Can we get to these qualifying offers? Because they're what's super interesting.
Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, because we talked about this a little bit. I don't know what platform. Jake Odorizzi accepts the qualifying offer from Minnesota because they kind of damned him by making a qualifying offer. Because the way we saw the market play out is these teams, so the rules are, if you get a qualifying offer and you say, no thank you, I'm going to go to free agency, well then any team that signs you has to give Minnesota a draft pick as compensation since you said no to the qualifying offer. And the whole point was to incentivize teams to offer qualifying offers to their players that have been with their team, because it's good if you have guys coming back and loyalty and that type of stuff.
And it used to be the generic stereotype was, our guy is going to be here for the first 6 years and then he'll sign with the Yankees or he'll sign with the Dodgers. So when that happened, the idea was that if you were the Twins, if you were whatever other team you were, sorry Twins fans, qualifying offer example, is that if that player leaves, you still get a first-round pick, so you could build your farm system and things like that. Now, those used to be a lot less valuable in Major League Baseball. Now they are a pretty decent form of currency. Yeah,
the draft picks and trades and all that, we've learned that they're super huge. And Keuchel didn't get signed because he had a draft pick attached to him, and a lot of other guys, Moustakas, didn't get signed because he had a draft pick attached to him. So if Odorizzi says no to this qualifying offer, teams may want to pay him the same money or more, but they don't want to do it with that draft pick attached, and he could be waiting all winter. So his hands are kind of tied because he's pretty deep on the free agent pool right now, and he's got a draft pick attached, so he's just like, I have to take this because this is money on the table right now. So qualifying offer system kind of sucks. A lot of systems in the CBA suck right now. Good for Jake Odorizzi because it is a decent chunk of money, and he does get to stay and be with his team, and good for Minnesota for the fans that like Odorizzi, and bad for the fans that don't like him. I'm not sure how many go each way. But it is just such an interesting trickle effect with the CBA and all the rules and shit.
Yeah, and it's strong. The thing that is saving the qualifying offer currently is that you can only be offered it once. So Odorizzi, he can be offered it this year. He accepted it. So if he goes out and he has another good year, he will hit free agency with no hassle or anything. It's kind of tough because he probably could have gotten a 4-year, 15-year, 4-year, 15. I don't know, 3-15, 4 for 12. And kind of would have been his last contract, and now he's got to go out and do it again. So we'll see. Hopefully it ends well. And yeah, I think if you're the other starting pitchers, you're a little excited. If you're that second tier, if you're the Ryus, if you are the Kershaws, that kind of tier, that's one less guy who's fighting for money from a team like the Twins that probably wasn't going to go out and shell out money for someone they weren't familiar with. I don't know. Maybe that got a little weird at the end.
You don't know. So tell me about this Abreu one. He accepts the qualifying offer because no one wants a DH anymore. Same reason why JD Martinez didn't opt out of the Red Sox. He saw the market for first base / DH guys and said, oh shit, no one really has a spot or wants this. So I'll just opt back into the Red Sox contract, which is good money. And I think Abreu probably saw the same thing, and his team was like, this is the only team that really needs you.
Yeah. I mean, the teams that are looking for DHs are the White Sox in Texas, and basically Chicago kind of brought theirs back. Jose Abreu did play 125 games at first base. He's not special over there. I think he could probably pick it for another year, maybe 2. He's going to be 33 next season. This one's kind of tough for me because it's nice that he stays in Chicago with the White Sox. And he's about as steady as a hitter as they come. Casually did lead the league in RBIs this year. I don't know. It's nice for that part of it. For Jose Abreu, again, another guy that you hope he has another solid Jose Abreu year. Because if he goes into next year going to be 34, can't really play first base anymore, his market's going to suck. Yeah. So that's the tough part of this whole qualifying offer thing.
Yep. And then, that's interesting. But, yeah, you better have a good year.
Have a good year and go get a 2-year good money or 3-year decent money contract to DH first base somewhere after that. But yeah, I think most of you are with us. But if that would be the overlying thing, if Jose Abreu hit free agency this year, he probably gets 3 years, $15 million per. Instead, he's getting 1 for 17, 1 for 18 essentially, which is more for this year. But if he has a bad year, he might screw himself.
He'll have a great year. You're going to get Puig in right field. They're going to have fun.
Puig, they'll have like a little, they got a Cuban connection. Moncada got MVP votes.
So this big graph, I don't know who made this, but I'd give him a shout out if his name was on here. John Becker, that's who it is. My sophomore biology teacher. Here are the teams that are out, according to John Becker, who's done a great job keeping up with this, on Garrett Cole. Baltimore, Toronto, Detroit, Seattle, Colorado. Fully out, Jake. Okay? Just keeping everyone up to date. And that's all.
That was that update. Okay, interesting. I'm going to rule out Kansas City. I didn't see them. Yeah, I don't know, and I think how about this to kind of tie things off a little bit. A, what you said with JD Martinez accepting his option, not a huge market for DHs right now. Um, and the other, so the guys that do have qualifying offers attached to them, and it's something to watch. Cole, Rendon, Strasburg, it's not going to matter at all.
Nope.
Um, do you think it affects Wheeler at all?
No.
No, because I'm with you. I think a team falls in love with him a little bit. What about Bumgarner Donaldson?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Like money wise, it feels like you want to get those guys into camp a little bit, but I mean, someone like Josh Donaldson, you're going to sign him what, 2-3 years? He's kind of getting older. He's got a little bit of an injury history. Teams might be a little fickle over that first round pick. And the only other guy out there is Marcell Ozuna, which I don't know. He's going to be an interesting one to watch. I don't think it affects him if you convince yourself that he's going to be your slashing right fielder for the next 4 seasons. I think you're okay with giving it up.
Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. I have do one more thing and then we'll end this. But this is, I think, if I keep up with this over the offseason, and I'm not keeping up with it, John Becker is, but I'll share it. Yeah. He has in here, team has a legitimate shot, has made an offer, or are in the top candidates. And there's a couple now that he has. Brett Gardner and the Yankees. It's kind of obvious, but there's been reports now that they are working on something. He has Madison Bumgarner and the Atlanta Braves. The Braves they are a top-tier candidate. Have interest. It's like noted, right?
Yeah, he likes the AL East for Mad Bum, huh? Or the NL East.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got Atlanta with the green, but he's got Philly and Washington with the baby blue, which is interested.
Yeah, but it's not him. Then he links the tweets if you click the blue.
Right.
That. Strasburg with Washington, and that's because they made an offer already.
Yep.
And then there was another one that was interesting to me. Oh, Howie Kendrick with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a Rays move. I guess if you're fully bought into what Howie Kendrick was last year and you're not one of the front offices saying he's older and he's going to regress back to the mean, yeah, I guess that would be a good Rays risk-reward move. Like if you get the 950 OPS Howie Kendrick, yeah.
And then for Alex Gordon, what's going on with Alex Gordon? He's got team is out on player and is not interested for every single team in the league. And then he has the Royals as being very interested. Has every other team come out and said no to Alex Gordon?
I don't know. Feels a little Wainwright-ish. Who, by the way, Adam Wainwright re-signed with the Cardinals, so that's good.
And Ryan Zimmerman has interest from the Washington Nationals, Mr. National.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I bet. So that's the end of that. And that's the end of the show. And we thank you for hanging out with us, and we appreciate it. And Jake, any final words?
Thanks for seeing us. We'll see you guys, Monday, Tuesday? We'll see if there's any other breaking news. Let's
get a trade. We'll be back Monday, and then Jake and I will be traveling, and we'll maybe do some shows together later on.
Yeah, if you're one of our GMs, do a trade. That way we'll know you're a fan.
Thank you, all our GMs that listen. Do the trade. Jake sucks. Oh, there's someone in the chat. There's someone in this chat that wanted to know about Brock Holt. Let me see if I can find it.
Holt.
I'm going to wait for this to play. So they are asking, let's see, who is it? Finn Marable. What do you guys think of Brock Holt? You mentioned Todd Frazier to the Phillies would be a good clubhouse guy by in terms of morale. Going to the gym?
Yeah.
Brock Holt would be good utility veteran guy. They just don't get a lot of money. But I think Brock Holt's like average and on base percentage have been really good the last 2 years. He doesn't have any power. Like, I don't even think he attempts power anymore. So, do you think there's a big want for Brock Holt?
Let's see. So his OPS the last 2 years, 774, 771. He hit 297 with a 369 on base, and he played, let's see, he played every position except center field last year. So, I mean, he's the ideal bench player. You'd like to think he either goes back to Boston or, I mean, he'd be a perfect fit for the NL, man. It's plug and play.
The NL would be good for him. You don't think Red Sox have any interest? You don't like how much is he going to cost? Like, do you pay for a guy that does that?
Let's see. So
they compared him to Todd Frazier here, and the difference is Todd Frazier is also an on-base percentage guy, right? But he also then has power.
Yeah.
So Brock Holt is a good on-base percentage guy, but he's got no power. So when he does make contact, it's like empty contact. So I don't know.
And Todd Frazier plays a valuable defensive position well. I think Brock Holt survives at every position. I think second base would probably be his strongest. But like Todd Frazier can play third base for the whole season. You wouldn't. I think the only position you'd want to pencil Brock Holt in for that would be second base. But he's more valuable. Oh, third baseman pulled his hamstring and is out 2 weeks. Brock Holt can cover that. So I don't know. Yeah, Todd had a 772 OPS last year, 21 homers. I think it would be close. I think a couple years back, it'd be easily Todd Frazier, but those super utility guys are crazy valuable nowadays.
Yeah. I just got an invite to go on Steve Summers' show.
No.
The Schmooze.
The Schmooze.
But I have an interview with The Athletic at 6, and he's a nighttime. But I fucking love the Schmooze.
Breakdown. It seems like more of a shakedown of the Astros organization.
So do you think this cheating is rampant, or is this just the Astros reinventing the game themselves?
Who's City? Who are you talking to with The Athletic?
Mark Carrick.
Oh, that's right. Is he still coming to your place?
I don't know. Do you think he'd like that I have a big old couch cushion right here?
Yeah, I think he would appreciate that.
That's the grind. It's like a nice detailed write-up the Athletic. At his desk looks more like a pillow fort. All right, I got to get going, though. I got to go get bombarded on these Houston radio shows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got to milk this for all it's worth, I think, exposure-wise.
Yeah.
So, like, Houston radio shows are good, and then, I mean, I don't want to say no to the Schmooze.
It's impossible.
Love the Schmooze. So
it's the dream.
It is weird they just texted me. It's like, I kind of get, like, weirded out when, like, producers of these shows just, like, text me. And I'm like, where did you get my number from?
Well, aren't they WFAN?
Yeah, I know. I know that one, but I've had it from others. And then I got to do the Steelers-Browns things.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking for it. Pretty fucked up, huh?
Yeah, dude. It's nuts.
Did you see that shirt design?
Yeah.
Can we make that? I mean, it's parody, right?
It's parody. It looks like a lot.
Thank you. Call me Shua. All right. That's a good shirt if we can make it. Ooh, Bill got me the breakdown he got me the video of that thing, so that's cool.
Huge.
Think I'm going to get any more death threat emails?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes.
My whole life? For sure.
Yeah. They're here, whether here or elsewhere.
I had some gummies in bed, and that was like my wind down, like just checking the last couple things before I listened to a music or a show and go to sleep. And I got that email, and I was just like, I was giggling. Katie's like, "What?" And I was like, "You wouldn't giggle. You wouldn't giggle if you read this email." So it was good though. Dude checked off the laundry list of insults.
Yeah.
And got them all. So, all right.
Hey,
Anything else for the patrons?
Oh, not for the patrons though.
No. See you guys.